Hi, I'm Siobhan Dolan, and today we're going to talk about getting ready for labor and delivery. In this segment, we'll talk about what to think about and when it's time to call your healthcare provider. We'll list some key signs and symptoms that mean it's time to call your doctor and midwife. There's a lot of important reasons to call your provider towards the end of your pregnancy. If you're having regular uterine contractions, you should give a call because you'll want to be checked to see if you're in labor. If your water breaks, again, you want to call because you'll need to make a plan to get to the hospital. Reasons that are concerning include if you're not feeling your baby move or if you have heavy vaginal bleeding. The bottom line is, don't sit home worrying. If you're concerned, call, check it out. You'll either need to do something about it or you can stop worrying, and ultimately that'll give you more peace of mind. What I'd like to do is ask you all to think with me about how to know you're in labor. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but sometimes there's some questions and it's hard to know. And we have Desiree here, the expert, who's going to help us. So, did you go into labor on your own?
My water broke.
Your water broke. Oh,
So
well, that's...
to me, I thought that was a little easier than waiting for the contractions because you're not sure if they're Braxton Hicks or what.
Exactly.
My water broke, so I knew right away that this wasn't normal.
All right, so tell us about that. What was it like when your water broke?
It kind of feels like you have to go to the bathroom, which I thought. So I kind of got up to make my little, routine trip to the bathroom, but I couldn't control it. So it just kind of came down. I said, oh, okay. So I knew. When I got there, they had to give me like papers, like pads to sit on because the water keeps coming. Because I didn't know that. I thought once it broke, I was already, no.
And you go through contractions then?
Not yet. No contractions.
Fluid, right?
Is it the amniotic fluid that's coming?
Right. So what happens is your baby is in a big sack. And it's actually a funny way we use the words your water broke because actually your water doesn't break. The water comes out when the sack breaks. Your situation's interesting because your water broke, your membranes ruptured before labor pains started. A lot of times it happens the other way around. Did you ever have friends who told you stories like that?
They did, but I kind of felt bad because when I was in the waiting area, there were other, mothers there, or soon-to-be mothers, and they were all having contractions, and they were all in pain. And I was sitting there like...
You were just like...
I didn't feel anything, and I felt bad because they were feeling, the contractions. My water broke, but I had no pain, no contractions or anything yet.
Right.
So I could kind of see them, going through it, so I knew, what was coming.
Now, let's talk about going into labor with labor and contractions starting on their own. So what have you heard or thought about or read about? What do you think is gonna come your way?
It just happens.
It just happens. I love it. And you know what? Isn't that wonderful? That's what we hope for, right?
Yeah.
It just happens. Early on, usually the contractions start. They will start sporadically, intermittently, every hour, every half hour. And what happens is they become more frequent, more regular, meaning you can count on one coming usually between 3 and 5 minutes is when we consider it labor. And when the contractions are coming at this intensity, this frequently, that is usually an indication that your cervix is opening. And when your cervix is opening, that's labor. Regular contractions with cervical change.
And so what do the contractions kind of feel like? Like how would you know
That it's a contraction?
it's a contraction?
It can feel like a cramp, it can start like menstrual cramps, just like a little discomfort. And it can also be in your back, but they intensify with time. And also what happens is they can start like just down low, but then they spread. So, you feel the contraction everywhere. Ultimately, there's a little fear that you're going to miss your labor pains, but really you don't. Nobody misses their labor pains ultimately when you're finally in labor. If someone's like, I think I'm in labor, they're not in labor. Like real labor, you can't walk, you can't talk, you can't chat through it. If you're really in labor, it stops you.